Good night. Here, one doing tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Erma Jerry Spiritual Divine. I'm here to give you a word on today, and the topic gonna be Delilah. And remember, she was on Samson White. Remember, I preached on that I think last week sometime. And she betrayed Samson. Samson had power through his hair. This Samson last love story. And his wife Delilah was a Philistine who vowed to entrap Samson, him into revealing that the secret of his strength was his long hair. Now, whereupon that she took advantage of his confidence to betray him to his enemies and never cost him his life. Now when I preached on the Samson story last week. Now God told him not to marry a Philistine woman. He told him not to marry because God designed him, with power to take care of the Israelites, to protect them, and so his protection was against the Philistine. So that's why God said, do not go and marry a Philistine when you is protecting the Israelite from the Philistine. But he didn't listen. This woman here was so beautiful to Samson, he couldn't resist her. God told Samson not to marry a Philistine woman, but he did. Samson really thought she was on his side. Now, just because that was his wife, he thought she was on his side, and otherwise she wasn't. Now just her story she telling. She was not on his side, and guess what she said? She said she owned it on her own self side. Because she was working for the Philistine the whole time when she married him. Because the Philistine saw the power that he had. They got her to marry him because they wanted to see where his power come from. They want to know his weakness. They see the power, but they want to know his weakness, and she was the only one that they can use to do that. So she said she owned her own self side. Philistine thought Samson was not a wise leader. Now they thought he wasn't a wise leader. And he probably wasn't. God gave him power. So I don't know if he was a good leader or not, but they say he was not a wise leader. Because we see how he did not make a wise decision when he met his wife, when God told him not to marry a Philistine woman. So we see his strength. He's strong, but they want to know. They see how strong he is, so they want to know his weakness. To slow him down. Because they see that he beating everything down. And his wife was just the right ticket. To get any kind of secret out of him, because they see his strength, but they want to know his weakness. And see, that's how the devil is. When the devil can find out your weak spot, that's what the devil gonna keep on poking at. Because he out to get your weak spot. So now Samson says she's beautiful, and he immediately fell under her spell. She was beautiful, and he fell under her spell. So no matter, she was seducing him, everything else, and he just fell for it. So the Philistine had her to find out Samson's secret of his strength. So now she is a good actress. Some people, when they manipulate you, they be a good actress. A lot of people is a good, and that's how the devil is. The devil can tell a lie on you, but they can proceed it like it's so good, like it's so real. Because they become to be a good actress. So she was pulling everything out, pulling every card out, trying to find out about this secret. So she manipulated him with accusation that he didn't love her. most women, that's what we'll do when we can't have our way. Well, you don't love me then, and that's what she did, and he fell for it, because she was trying everything, manipulating him, doing everything, and remember he just kept on giving her false answers. He was giving her false answers, so she figured she'll play on his sympathy, he'll fall for it, and just what he did. That was something that struck him. And she said, "Well, you don't love me." So her position finally wore Samson down. He told he told her the secret of everything. So she told the Philistine. And as soon as she got the secret, she went and told them. Because she was working for them the whole time, even before she married him. So remember, she is a Philistine that he married. And when God told him not to marry a Philistine woman, now she betrayed Samson, and now this is the same thing that God um, know what's gonna happen. See, God already know what's gonna happen. So when God tell us something, He already know what's gonna happen because God already know the beginning to the end. You know, so that's why He was saying, don't marry a Philistine, because this is the kind of stuff that happened. That's what He know was gonna happen. You know. So what's going to happen? So now she waiting. Now she waiting for Samson to fall asleep. Now she got the answer that she wanted. She told the Philistine everything. So now she waiting for him to fall asleep. Fall asleep, and then put his head on her lap. And then she got someone to cut his hair soon as he fell asleep. So his strength was gone. And then she had him over. She hanged him over to the enemy, to the Philistine. So when Samson woke up, he realized that God's spirit had left him. Because God told him, your strength, your power is your hair. If you cut your hair, you're going to lose your power. And he probably didn't realize he was going to lose God's spirit that was inside of him also. So the Philistine mocked him. So by he done lost his strength. His hair is cut. So now they're mocking him. They're mocking him, and then sent him to their god, dragon, that had delivered Samson into their hands, and that was his wife. So they call his wife a dragon. They call her the dragon, the devil. So now they mocking him. They're mocking him because he ain't got no strength, and then his hair is cut off. He has 7 big old little plaster and stuff up in his head, and they cut all that off. So God brought their temple down on their own head through Samson. So they mocking Samson. So God brought their temple down. Brought their temple down. Now Samson lost his hair and strength. But later on his hair started growing back. So once his hair started growing back, he asked God to give him strength one more time. I preached on that last week. He asked God to give him strength one more time. Once his hair started growing back. So God gave him the strength. God gave him the strength one more time. He started fighting and beating him down, but he ain't had the kind of strength that he had before. So he still died. So Philistine still killed him. He still lost his life. So Samson died, and he was betrayed by his wife. So God gave him strength. He did a little fighting for a little while, but God didn't give him the kind of strength that he had before. I guess once his hair got cut, his strength couldn't fully come back like it was. And then God could have had to come back for it like it was, but he obeyed God when God told him not to marry a Philistine. See, God already knew this was gonna happen. So when He says something to us, sometimes we all hard-headed. Sometimes. We all hard sometimes. Sometimes we get a little doubts in our mind and stuff like that. But we have to realize that God sees everything. He know the front to the back. He know the beginning to the end. And if He said don't marry a Philistine woman, he have a reason why. So now we see that his wife used her beauty and intelligence to further her own end. So it is possible even for Christians to be tempted to be manipulated with those who love us to the grade what we want. And sometimes that be the ones to entrap you sometimes. That be the ones who betray you. Look how Peter betrayed Jesus. And they was real close on his journey for years. And sometimes you know when your husband and wife, I'm gonna put it like this: God created a husband and wife to be as one. So back then we were supposed to be one. And so when you're married, you're supposed to fully trust your husband, fully trust your wife. All this stuff that's going on now ain't supposed to be going on. So he loved his wife, he trusted her, but she did not feel the same way because she already had entrapment for him before she even married. You know, so uh, so he was tempted and he was manipulated by his wife. So those who love us get what they want. Sometimes your marriage don't be legit. His wasn't. She wanted to get what she wanted. They saw how he was fighting, protecting the Israelite and stuff. They saw that strength that he had. So they want to know his weak. See, the devil always want to know your weak point. The devil see how strong you is. Everybody got a weak point, but you cannot let the devil see your weak point all the time. Because see, the devil used that at his advantage. For her desires for money, fame, and material things can motivate us to walk down the road that we would otherwise never consider. So we see what she did. So we're not going to walk that kind of road that she did. We're not going to manipulate no man to get what we want, or betray or use a man. She used her beauty and her intelligence to get what she wanted. And at first, it was not working at first. So she had to come out with something else. You don't love me. And sometimes when you say that, that trigger a man off. Some trigger in him, so he wind up and just give her all the answers. All the answers to her, all the secrets that she wanted to hear. And she didn't want that just for herself. She was working for the Philistine. So she get her information to them. Judges chapter 16 verse 19. Heaven put him to sleep on her lap. Now she called a man to shave off his 7 braids of his hair, and so began to seduce him, and his strength left him. As soon as she did that, his strength left him. So the time he woke up, he realized that God's spirit also left him too. So now we see what happened when you are disobedient. Now Samson was foolish, and he let beauty blind him. So when God make a statement, he knows. It was too late. He asked for power one more time. So God gave it to him one more time, but it wasn't so powerful like he had before. And she manipulated the truth from him, which cost him his life. She used not most men, all women. We have to be careful because, just like this story is, a man or a woman can use their beauty, can use their handsome, to manipulate you. And you gotta realize you gotta be careful sometimes. Because sometimes people have a reason why they marry you, and sometimes it don't be for love. Just like this case right here, it was not love. Now he loved her, but she disowned him, wanted to get what she wanted to get out of him. Because you see at the beginning, she said, on the side, she was on her own self side. Delilah was on Delilah's side. So that means she ain't had that kind of strong feeling for him like he did for her. She was in it to entrap him, and it worked, which cost him his life. So a lot of time, if God tell us certain partners, do not be with, God always, he knows what he's saying because he always can see everything. The front to the back. He have reason why if he said don't do this. He slow the process down, stop the process. He does it for a reason. and he didn't want to listen, So he was so powerful that he wasn't even a wise leader. He was just so excited of the strength that he had. I guess he was just focused on beating people down. Because he was good at that. He was good at doing that. So he was disobedient to God. And God told him not to marry a Philistine woman because you fighting against them. So how you get into that family and you fighting against them protecting the Israelite? But he didn't want to listen. He saw some beauty. He was with his parents when I told the story last week. He was with his parents when he saw a beautiful woman that was a Philistine. So he gonna tell his parents to go over there and to call her. And the parents say no. You remember God told you not to marry a Philistine woman. So when the parent left, he did it anyway, being disobedient. He did it anyway. So I know if God tell me, don't be with this, don't be with that, I'm gonna listen, cause I'm not even in no rush to step out there like that anyway. Cause we have to realize God knows what He's saying and He know what He done. So they also was saying seven come about a lot of time. Like he had his braid, that was seven braid. And you remember Jacob had worked for 7 years to get his wife. And remember the Israelite had to walk around that wall 7 times before they can tear that down. So something about seven. Because God created the world in 7 days. So they use seven all the time through the Bible. So we have to pay attention to a lot of numbers. He created the world in 7 days, and you see a lot of stories that they use seven, walk around 7 times. He had to wait 7 years to get his wife. Um, Samson was disobedient, and Delilah, she told her story that she was in it already before she got married to entrap him. I read that at the beginning. She was in it to entrap him. And it worked. It wasn't working at first. Until she had to pull some cause out to make him change his mind, and it worked. You don't love me. So I guess that was the main thing that triggered him, and he changed his mind and gave her everything that she wanted. And then hurry up and get the information to the Philistine, and then stood there and wait for the man to go to sleep. So that was a big old betrayal, and that'd be a big betrayal when it comes from your partner. So we all should learn this lesson right here. When God tell us, don't be with this one, and now we gonna listen. We gonna listen because we don't want to be in the same boat like Samson was. He was disobedient and married that Philistine woman when God told him not to, and look what happened. It cost him his life. You know, God told him all your life you cannot cut your hair. He already know that, but he thought he can trust his wife to give her that secret, and he didn't realize she was working for the Philistine the whole time. Because sometimes you let your guards down. Sometimes when you're married, he let his guards down. Trusting her. That's how marriage supposed to be. God created a woman and a man to be married, to be as when a woman and a man get married, supposed to be as one. He supposed to be our best friend, our lover, our husband and wife. That's how it's supposed to be. But these days, it has not. You know, ever since I did that, 2 days ago with Eve, ever since they ate that fruit, everything had changed. Husband, wife, she manipulated her husband. Taste this fruit. And he ain't waste no time. He ate the fruit too. So both them sin. That changed everything for us. It changed our mindset. It changed everything. That how we do things on earth. Because of that mistake that they made. So I hope y'all enjoy this word. And always remember, we're not gonna make the same mistake that Samson did. We have to be careful. We chosen one, so we really have to be careful. Stepping out there in that world with new things. So we have to be I'll ask God for that discernment. I know I will. Discernment and everything else. That's what we're going to need to step out into that new world. So I hope y'all have a blessed night, and I see y'all in the next video.